So what I'm proposing is that we ban yeah for this episode to see how far we get.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I don't think I'll get very far.
Actually, you know what?
Broke.
I've already thought about it, and
Well,
it's a bad idea.
No.
Because the moment I said it, we started speaking way slower and way more carefully because we're trying to avoid saying a common word.
We can't
And I think
do
that actually is probably going to hurt the
my
thing.
notes for the episode "The Empty Child" were written on my Dr. Dance's page, so
Oh, nice.
so I'm going to be talking about these
Yeah.
episodes back to front.
So we're talking about the Empty Child and you just talk about the Doctor
I'll act
Dancers?
as though you're talking about the same thing.
Just completely ignore everything you say and you ignore what we say.
No, Sam, I've got an editing job for you. You gotta cut out everything I say and put it in the next
You can
one.
edit your side if I want that.
And then edit next future me into this one.
That
In fact, you know what? I'm
awful.
going to do it so seamlessly that it'll seem like you just talked about the Empty Child.
Oh, I see.
This is the moment that Sam has a gun to Matt's head.
I keep my gun somewhere back there.
No, don't shoot me again!
That's true. He's only just come back to life, and it was thanks to the nanogenes. So
Oh
you know.
my god.
So yes,
thanks to
we've
the
just watched
midichlorians.
The Empty Child, written by Stephen Moffat, directed by James Hawes.
It's our first Moffat episode.
And our first horror episode.
That's true. No whores before Moffat came in.
Mm-hmm.
Classic horny Moffat.
Should we have included Curse of the Fatal Death as part of New Who?
No, that will be our April Fool's
I think
episode.
that's got to be a special episode.
Okay.
I think it's
so...
got to be.
Well, because we can't fix it.
Has anyone got a 5-word summary you want to kick off with?
I've got a few.
I've got a couple as well, yeah.
Right, well, I've not got a
Well, I've
good
got-
one, so I'll start.
Oh yeah, you start.
Who is the boy's mummy?
Well, as we find out in part 2, it's Jack.
It's his sister.
No, it's Jack. Jack is mummy.
The mum of the sister. Same person.
What's your first one, Matt?
Oh, I should have been that. Mine was Rose purposefully spared by Nazis.
That's true. Oh, that does make sense.
None of
'Cause she
them
was
hit
hanging
her.
from the balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done Doctor attends War Orphan Banquet.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He does do
He
that.
did. It was one of my favourite parts of the episode.
That was wonderful. And I've got my second one. Doctor commits Soviet Union erasure.
Oh, he did do that. What in his summary?
In
Of,
his speech about a lonely damp island
I'm-
and the Empire.
I'll get back
I've
to that in my
got one
dislikes.
more. Or have I got two more? Oh no, I've got two more. I've got Zombie Child Cries and Pisses. And I've got Stupid Orphan Leaves Door Unlocked.
I fucking love that one.
That's also the banquet scene because that was my favourite
Stupid
scene.
orphan leaves door unlocked.
It's,
is my
in
favourite.
terms of the horror writing, it was very nice.
It's very well
So,
done. I like
First like I wrote down was Mauve Alert.
Mauve Alert?
Yeah,
Oh, Mauve.
Mauve.
Sorry, you said it in a way that my brain did not register.
I wrote it down correctly. And
Oh, is that what
pronounced
they
it
said
how
Mauve?
it's spelled.
I heard Mo.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought they changed
No,
it to a
Mauve.
name.
Like Mauve.
can't read
it's
upside
It's
Mauve.
the whole idea of the episode is that on other planets the colour system that we decided on Earth is just different, and it's like almost universal everywhere but Earth, and
That's
so us
excellent.
having
So
red
that
is
it's
silly.
it actually goes into one of the changes going forwards.
That we should have more mauve.
That aliens should have more mauve. And
That's
less
a
red.
really good point.
I'm with that. Mauve alert.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
We'll-
I mean,
we'll come
like,
back to that.
I like the getting a like that goes to a change. That's not
Novel.
as common for us.
Mm. Well, I mean, we had that in episode 1 with what was his name? Keith. I wrote it down.
Keith.
Clive.
Clive. Okay. Yeah. That's a good point.
Similar name.
I'm thinking we should get a cork board.
A mood board.
No, like a cork board,
Mm.
and
They
then
could deliver some
some
mood.
some post-its,
Yeah.
and we pin on the things we're meant to keep track of. Because I've 100% lost track of everything I've said we're going to keep track of.
Oh, it's fine. That's going to be part of the recap episode at the end of the season. I'm going to have a section on stuff we want to bring back, and I will listen back to the episodes and make notes of stuff. If that's cool with you.
Yeah,
I think it would be nice to have essentially a place where we put those things together. So that's to be looked forward to, I suppose.
Mm.
One of the things I liked in this episode was the introduction of the John Smith alias. I think was this episode. I don't think he's used it up until
I
now.
skipped over that completely. My ears didn't even
Well,
hear it.
Rose reads it off of the psychic paper,
Yeah.
so
that's
he
it.
doesn't even like use it as that, but like he shows her the psychic paper and she reads it.
He
and
might
she
not
reads
even
it.
be consciously doing it.
John Smith,
His-
asteroid.
John Smith,
Whatever.
like super sex man, 2012.
No, that's Jack.
That's how I introduce myself.
Sam is dressed like Jack for this recording.
I don't think.
Nearly nude.
Viewers, you will not be able to see this.
What if they are? What if they've got the what's the weird technology that the child uses to like
Oh yeah, what?
speak through anything with a speaker
That
grill?
that doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
It's magic, and that's fine.
I agree.
I don't know, sufficiently sci-fi. It's fine.
I mean, like it ties in well with the rest of the story
Assuming
of the
the
episode.
speaker grill has a speaker behind it.
Yeah,
You know what doesn't
they
have a
don't
speaker?
specify that.
You know what doesn't have a speaker grill? It's a typewriter.
These are things from the next episode, though. So
Everything's blending together.
it does blend together. It's a
Also,
two-part.
yeah, we don't. The typewriter is just like the nanogenes having a little.
He
type-
locks a door. He closes and locks a door by pointing
With
at
his
it
mind.
in this episode,
Yeah.
and that's fine too. I'm okay
That's
with
just
that.
No, me
That's
too.
what Sonic
I
does.
love the him
Yeah.
pointing at the door and shutting it. That was amazing.
I really liked a scene that I know that Sam also liked, which is the Doctor's kind of stand-up bit, where he's
Oh, that
genuinely
was-
trying to
it was
interrogate
funny.
people.
So yeah, where he's going. Has anything fallen out of the sky recently?
Yeah, because
And
I'm
they're all
looking for
like-
something that's
They're-
about this big that's fallen from the sky, probably in the last
And
month.
there's like a few chuckles at like, oh yeah, we get it, haha, very funny.
Yeah,
They find it more funny the more it goes on.
well, because it
That's
I
what
think it
happens with
catches them off
stand-up
guard,
bits.
and then it kind of they
Okay.
slowly start to think that he's a stand-up comic.
Right, I see.
So the first chuckle happens after like a bit of a dead silence after his first question. And they kind of, someone chuckles it and the room kind of warms up a bit. And then he asks the second question and everyone thinks it's really funny. Because it's kind of like the mob mentality of the room have decided, based on where we are and the social context of this being an entertainment place, this makes sense.
Okay.
Because he's acting like a fucking weirdo otherwise.
No, true. No,
Like
I figured
a
that. No,
comedian.
I got what was happening. I just enjoyed how they found it funny.
It's great. It's
The-
really good.
I like the introduction of the kid in the gas mask not instantly obviously being what's going to be the problem.
Because it's just like a kid
A
on a
kid
roof.
who's like saying, "Where's my mummy?" And it's like it could be that this kid is in need of help from whatever we're dealing with.
It's
this
also a
episode.
great excuse for Rose to run off that's not like a massive dire thing, because I don't think it makes sense for her to go and solve alien shit on her own
Not
at
yet.
this point. Whereas human stuff,
She thinks
she's
it's
a
just
bit
a
more
missing, like a kid who's lost.
she's a bit more empathetic. She grows up in an estate where there's that big kind of communal kind of found family culture that we've seen in previous episodes. We've seen how Mickey in the 80s in Father's Day as a kid was kind of collectively looked after by the wider group, and they all raised a lot of kids together in that kind of estate area. So you could see why Rose has kind of the natural instinct to like, oh, this is like easy, this is just what we do, we go and we make sure the child's safe and then we move on. And the Doctor doesn't have that same nurturing aspect going now.
He also didn't see the little kid.
It's interesting because when we get to Matt Smith's like second episode, him running to look after a crying child is like an important plot point. And I think part of that is the Doctor is quite family orientated, but he has been pushing that away for a long time in this incarnation of the Doctor, and that's been quite a consistent thing so far in the series. So maybe he's like, he just doesn't have that mode like switched on in his head.
Yeah.
I mean, like this whole two-parter leads up to his first real win so far. He's not really succeeded totally in any episode up until this point. Someone has always just fully eaten shit and died in like every episode.
Yeah.
Or the Doctor has murdered the enemies in every episode. So
Yeah,
you know,
he doesn't go out murdering in this episode.
It doesn't. I mean, there's no one really to murder.
Which means we'll get no beans on toast.
And they were probably rationed. Fuck, man.
That's what we should.
They didn't have enough
That's
stamps. They didn't have enough
that's one
bloody
of the
food
changes,
stamps.
Is when they're having the food.
Just bowl of beans. And the guy would have to be fucking the bean farmer instead of the butcher.
The bean farmer.
Man fucks bean farmer.
Well,
That's
yeah,
like
you
the
farm big
headline.
beans. You pull them out slimy from the
What?
ground.
But
What's
we
the
don't-
cannery
I think
man?
you're forgetting that's actually in the next episode.
Oh, that's true. He featured in this episode, but he doesn't do anything much.
Yeah.
The man.
You could also get him in with a fart joke if he was eating beans.
Oh, it's true. And then you could have Rose be like,
to be
"Oh
fair,
my
this
god,
was-
the Slovenia back."
This wasn't written by
And Jackie
Russell.
runs
This
from
was
London
written
to
by
Cardiff.
Moffat.
Yeah, Moffat doesn't. I don't think he's quite as fart prone. You know,
No.
he's not a farter. He
I mean,
is, however, very horny.
I assume he does fart.
No, it all goes straight to the cock with Moffat.
Oh, that makes sense.
He's very horny, and he wrote the characters quite horny in this episode, and I think it really worked.
I recommend to
In
any
this
viewers,
episode, yes.
Yeah, I think it worked really well in this episode.
to any viewers that haven't seen the video of Moffat writing with only his left hand on YouTube,
Such as me, I hadn't known of this.
I
It's
would
good.
recommend checking it out.
He is a horniman,
He is indeed.
like the devil himself. Well, actually, isn't it? Devil might not have horns. Devil might have
I like-
antlers.
I
Devil's
like-
lower half is trapped in ice. He ain't fucking anyone. That's a shriveled little thing.
I like that Rose grabs a random sky rope.
Honestly,
Oh, that was great.
honestly, it kind of seems like she's going to use it to try and swing over to the child, like she did in the first episode. She's like, "Oh, my gymnast senses are tingling. Let me grab this rope that's coming
And
from
then we see
the
why she got
sky."
bronze.
She got okay. I
Always
was about
check what the rope is tied to.
I was going to complain about the fact that she hangs on for so ridiculously long, but
That is actually one of mine.
they've set it up like she can. I'm okay with it.
Eh.
She doesn't use very good technique. But
She should have wrapped her leg around
she
the
should have-
bottom.
you see her trying in one of the shots, but I'm not sure if that was intended or if that was just Billie Piper flailing.
I think that was probably Billie Piper
It
flailing.
could have been, but it almost looks like she's trying to do a thing, and she did only get the bronze. So
And then we go to the scene where the phone rings.
when the phone rings, but also, more importantly, right before that, the doctor picks up a cat and talks to it, and that's funny.
Yeah.
And
Also,
then he gets interrupted by a phone.
the doctor's had a robot dog before.
He has, yeah.
Why can't he have a pet cat?
No, yeah, just a normal cat. I love that cat.
I don't think that people in 2005 were ready for a cat yet.
But like, if there was a TARDIS cat,
That just doesn't show up most of the time, but occasionally walks over the controls. Oh, that's
occasionally,
an accurate
walks,
cat.
walks
I'm
in
so
the
on the cat.
background.
Confirmed change. The doctor nicks that cat.
I thought he was. I thought he was
Yeah.
gonna. He throws it in the TARDIS, and we never see it again.
And then you could just have it like completely like, loads of companions go by. Peter Capaldi's just like pissing about, and Clara's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Feeding the cat." And then it's just still alive, like
It's
inexplicably.
just there.
I mean, it
The
wouldn't make
TARDIS is
sense.
big enough.
The TARDIS is big enough, but it's also a time machine, and like hundreds of years were implied to have passed between some of these seasons.
That's true,
Yeah,
but
but-
also
Yeah, cat.
it
live
looked
on.
into the heart of the time stream or whatever. It's immortal.
It's the time vortex.
No, Rose
itself.
brought it back to life at the end of Parting of the Way.
No, the cat was pregnant, and it had a baby exposed to the time vortex, which, as we know,
Makes it a time lord.
makes it a time
It needs,
lord
no,
cat.
it needs to be conceived in flight in the
Okay,
TARDIS.
I have.
And I will be changing that at the earliest fucking convenience.
Yes.
Okay, but if we do that, either way, like make it so there's a time kitten.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, if
I'm
we
down
were
for
to
Time
keep
Cat.
the River Song is a Time Lord because her parents banged in the TARDIS, we might as well have just a time cat.
No. I think we can come up with any number of explanations, and I think that they're all correct.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's one change for this
I've-
episode. Keep cat.
I've
Time
got-
cat.
I've got the name for the episode when this is all revealed.
Oh, yeah?
The Timeless Kitten.
Oh. yeah, you know what, fuck it. It makes more sense because it was conceived...
You need to chib it. We get,
Maybe it's the Timefull Kitten. Because it's full of time.
oh, the heart of the TARDIS is a cat.
They open it and it just goes...
It's Opie.
Rose, like, staring into this cat's eyes. It's just like a cute cat.
Can you imagine how
She
hard?
comes out and she's like, I'm full of time. The doctor looks in her eyes. There's like a little reflection of a kitten.
Well, no, it'll be-
He's like, oh no, Rosie absorbed the time kitten.
This is 2005. It would have been like Nyan Cat or something.
Oh,
this is
fuck,
back
it
when
would have
Nyan Cat
been
was
Nyan Cat.
actually funny.
Wow, good old internet. Early YouTube. We were on. You were just talking about
the phone
phone
ringing.
Yeah.
That's a nice setup for stuff to come.
It's also a really good horror moment
Yeah.
of. It's not quite scary, but the doctor's like, this doesn't work, and it's kind of almost fun and inquisitive, and then Nancy appears and makes it creepy
Yeah.
by
exactly,
being
yes.
weird and creepy about it, and then disappearing like Batman.
And then we get Captain Jack.
Yeah, who is just fucking solid in this whole episode.
Love him.
Really, really fun. I like the his introduction staring at Rose with the binoculars, because we get the kind of the reveal that this, like, what is it, like the general guy for this like local military unit is gay, or at least bisexual, and that pays off in like later in the episode, which is really cool.
It pays off in the next
Is
episode.
it the beginning of the next episode?
Is it the beginning? No, I think it pays off at the end of the next episode.
Maybe that was my mummy all along.
Oh no!
It was the next episode because I wrote something down about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe the real mummies were the ones we made
When-
along the way.
That, I think, is actually the plot of the episode.
Oh no. No, it is actually. You're right. God.
As both of you were saying,
All two of us.
the scene where the Doctor crashes the orphan banquet, and
Oh,
he's so good. He so endears himself to all of the orphans.
I
He
wrote
appears
down
using magic.
one of my likes about the episode is the fact that he's like, he's very like caring and like, I don't know. He's sensitive with the children. He
Yeah.
kind of is funny and like jovial with them, but he's also like very soft with the way he questions them, because he wants to know more about them and he's making assumptions about them at the same time. One of them, and then the others agree, kind of implies that he was evacuated to someone's house and there was a man there, so there's been some form of abuse that these children have suffered, and they have then fled their evacuee places and ended up on the streets, because it is better to be homeless than to be preyed upon by a fucked up adult.
Yep.
And that is all way more subtle than Moffat's usual writing. I think that the reason why most people hold Moffat's writing up to be this kind of bastion of the one-off episodes and not the overall plot episodes is that when he is forced to write an isolated story, he can put some really good subtlety in the kind of the character development of the side characters that is very nice. And, well, it's not actually nice, but it's very well done.
Yes. Yeah, indeed.
It wasn't a very nice thing at all what happened to those wee children.
Then we get more.
Big
then
up Moff, or as I've also
The
called
arrival-
him, the Fat.
The fat.
the arrival of the kids with the gas mask at the house that's good and creepy.
Yeah.
Taking over like the monkey.
Yeah. The fact that the other kid at the banquet leaves the door unlocked, I know I joked about it, but that is actually a really good tension building moment. The like
What did you
who
call
was-
him? Stupid.
yeah, he's a stupid orphan.
I picked up another stupid orphan.
Something about the fact that she's like, who was the last one in? And someone points out one kid, and she's like, no, he came in through the back. It really leads up she is the kind of the carer for these kids and the only one paying proper attention to the details of everything, and that's why their little plan of stealing dinner has worked so far. But she's also been so on guard because of the empty child that she's like paying attention to who came from where and how they all got in, and that they got here safely and they weren't followed, except this one kid who actually did come in last through the front door, presumably earlier than that other kid, was a fucker and left it open.
You just can't trust orphans.
You just
these
can't,
days.
you know. And they're thieves. That's one thing we've learned from this episode.
Yeah. Then we cut to Rose and Jack flirting, and it's fun.
Oh, it was very fun. I kind of thought I'd find it a little more forced going into this episode, because I remember it happens, but I think it's quite nice to see that Rose is just into spacemen in general.
No,
Sam is drawing on his foot. What are you drawing?
I'll
It's
show
a picture
you
of the
later.
doctor. It's
Okay.
a picture of the doctor. It's very accurate, I can tell you.
Okay.
I agree. I remembered all the flirting and everything being a bit more... But actually, no, it went fine.
Yeah,
Jack's actually very likeable the whole
Jack
way through.
comes on very strong, but in a way that makes a lot of sense for his whole self. Also, I like the fact that it kind of works for his con, but also there's the bit where he's like trying to sell Rose on the whole Chula ship thing, and she's just not paying any fucking attention.
Yep.
That's really funny. I like his suave, flirty style completely backfiring on him.
No, me too.
It's just amusing. The fact that he's this con man who's not necessarily super successful, nor has he thought out his plan perfectly, I think is a good setup for his big "oh, I fucked it up" moment in the next episode.
I like that the cloaked ship, he's like, parked somewhere you remember, and he's right next to Big Ben.
Large Ben. Which, as we've just been conditioned to be afraid for the safety of Big Ben because it got blown up by the Slovene. And guess what? Didn't get blown up this episode.
Even
Big
though,
Ben.
like, they're very clearly in view on top of a
And they
spaceship,
turn the lights
and
on
they turn the
in an
lights
air
They turn the
on
light
in the
on, they
middle of
turn the
air
cloak
ride.
off.
And you can clearly see all the bombers flying past them in the...
The Germans don't care.
they
The
turn-
Germans
the
think he's one of
effect there
them.
is
They
not
turned the
great.
lights on the one of the most famous buildings in the country, in the middle of like the big populated city that they're bombing, and none of the Germans thought, oh, we can actually orientate ourselves based on this monument that we know of.
Yep,
Oh, well, it's because...
It's a bit silly.
it's fine, but also
Yeah.
like it would have been really funny if the
But
Germans
I
had
also
immediately
do
blown
like
up.
Jack kind of using Big Ben like a like he clicks it like a car lock button or
Yeah.
something, or like a car alarm button, and it just does the little flash on Big Ben. I don't know, it's quite a fun little detail.
This episode does mention that she's her little brother Jamie is dead,
It does.
but it's very like it could mean nothing at this point if you don't know.
They actually set up everything so well in this episode that you could
Yeah.
guess the
Yeah, yeah.
conclusion really easily. The only thing you're missing that you don't find out until the next episode is the fact that the Chula ship's an ambulance, I think. I don't think they mentioned that in this one.
yeah,
that's
you don't know
next
what's
episode.
going on.
But you know that there's
But
a Chula ship.
there's
But
the
there's
you know about the
healing.
nanogenes.
You know about the nanogenes.
You know about Jamie's death.
You know about Jamie's death.
There's an
Um,
implication that
Nancy is set up in this episode to be a really caring and really effective mother type to all of these other children.
yeah,
And I think, like, part of that eases a bit of a dislike I have in the for the kind of it's mostly for the next episode, but it's in these two as a whole. The kind of like forcing of Nancy, you have to be a mother now, even though you had a teenage pregnancy that you weren't ready for in the middle of a fucking war. That's a bit icky to me, and that's again, Moffat's just a bit weird with writing women sometimes, but also it's kind of set up in such a way that it seems like maybe at this age she would yearn for that kind of relationship with her son.
But
It's
let's
just
not
a
forget-
bit strange.
Moffat was in charge when Kill the Moon happened.
He was, but also I don't think that was the message that
My favourite
actually came
episode.
with the episode. I don't think that was intended. I think that's just stupid.
Mm.
Like, I think that was a really, really stupid oversight and not an intended
Right.
like moral message. Because that episode is written weirdly. I'm sure I will reevaluate that when I see it again, because I have not rewatched it because I hated it so much.
Yes, same.
But that's, and we might find out that he didn't write that episode. It was in his
I don't think he
Tenure
did write
as
it.
showrunner.
I think he just was showrunner. at
yeah.
the time.
So
We'll learn
it
that
could have
Moffat
been
not
someone
only
with an
wrote-
ulterior motive.
Not only wrote but also directed that episode and fought the BBC to have it included.
And he actually was like, I am pro-life, and that is why I've written this episode.
He actually
And he had it
says
tattooed
that.
on his forehead.
He did, yes.
In Scottish. The accent, not any
I
kind
was
of
gonna
language
say
or
some
dialect.
Gaelic.
No, just the accent. I like how resourceful Nancy is just in general. They set up her whole plan without explaining much. They just allow the viewer to kind of pick up on what she's doing for the most
It
part.
was good.
There's a little bit of hand-holding where they explain it more in the banquet scene, but you have the whole setup of the banquet where you're kind of really clearly being shown the thing first, and I just like the way that was kind of written and directed. It just feels right to me. I don't know. It just feels like it's a nice way of kind of... I don't know. Again, it kind of shows that she's potentially a really good mother, but we don't get it overtly stated to us. She's
It's
just
like-
kind of
it's
taken
like
up
any
this
good-
role.
Any good like mystery, it has all of the setup nicely laid out, and you can work it out.
And a lot of the setup feels so natural in the episode that you don't realise it's setup, which is where it kind of hides away and then pops out at you towards the end of the next one. I think that's really nice.
hospital with all the gas masks, super creepy, really creeped me out as a kid.
Oh, everything with the hospital was like my favourite scene in the episode.
Constantine
it
is
was
a great character.
Wonderful horror movie moment.
Yeah.
Good old
all of them sitting up after he kicks the bin.
That's really cool.
So I remember being terrified about that, but the thing that
The
gave
way
me
he presents
nightmares
it, of him saying, guess the cause of death, and the doctor goes through all the obvious ones, and he goes, none, they're not dead, is such a good tension builder.
But the nightmare part is the transformation.
Yeah.
Gave me nightmares as a
That
kid.
shit is fucked up.
I never watched this episode as a kid.
Did you not?
No, it never scared me because I never watched it as a kid.
Ah.
I just skipped it.
No, I had
nightmares
nightmares about it as a kid. I couldn't watch it on rewatches until I was like older.
I wasn't scared of much as a kid. To be fair, I'm like a year older than you, so I might have been just slightly more like mentally okay. But I was.
It really scared me.
It was scary, but it didn't scare me, if that makes sense. Like I was like, that's creepy as fuck, but I wasn't fearful of it.
Did you watch this when it came out or not?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember,
you would have been.
I remember watching from, I think it was Dalek onwards. I remember the first time round, but I think we watched from Rose. Because my mum was a Doctor Who fan.
My mum was a doctor and also a Who.
How old were you again in 2005?
5.
Ah, fair. That will be it then.
Yeah, nice and easy.
Yes.
He was actually not that much older than Jamie, and he did know who his mummy was, and that's the only difference, really.
Yeah, whereas like you were 7 and I was 8.
Yeah.
So we'd seen the horrors of life already.
I do think though that actually Jamie is apparently 4 in this episode.
Yep.
He does not look or act like a 4-year-old now. I guess him asking for his mummy is a little bit.
I don't
like
know
a
anything
4-year-old.
about what a 4-year-old would
They
look
are
like.
not that big.
Oh really?
No, they are very fucking tiny 4-year-olds.
Oh, fair enough.
They are like you would probably look at one now
Mm-hmm.
in your kind of like, I've been an adult a long time and I'm used to other people who are also adults. If you looked at a 4-year-old now, you'd be like, you're probably like 1.
You could build
okay.
one quite a distance.
I see. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're like the difference between 2 and 4 is not that crazy. If you looked at a 10-year-old now, that's probably the age of the kid in this. I'd say he's somewhere between 7 and 10. We can look it up, but I like he seemed way too big to be a 4-year-old.
Nancy got very unlucky with the timing of having to raise a kid. Like, it turns 2 and World War II starts. That's quite bad.
There's also, to be fair, Nancy, the doctor guesses that she's like 20, 21, and I had misremembered her as being like 26.
Jesus.
So I think just like it's a consistent thing. Rose doesn't look 19, Nancy doesn't look 20, 21, and Jamie looks like 12. But that's just like a side. We'll ignore that because everyone's ages are wrong anyway.
Yeah, that's okay. It's just fiction. Don't matter.
And we get better acting
It's
as a
mad
result.
that Constantine's only 30.
And he never found out who his mummy was, which really fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
I think that Constantine is just he's.
So,
I was gonna say he's unreasonably clever. He's very reasonably clever. I like that
I like him a lot.
has kind of figured out so much about this off to the
Mhm.
side. And he doesn't give a fuck about the Dr. Sonic screwdriver, which I think is really funny.
No, completely.
I
but
wouldn't change that. I
It,
just think
makes
it's amusing.
sense.
that's where my likes end at the transformation.
Yeah, I've not got anything else written down. I think that's because I was very aware that there was a lot that was going to come into the next episode and be picked up there.
This two-parter functions very
I mean, the cliffhangers.
much as one episode.
I think the cliffhanger in this is the best one we'll get for a while.
I was going to say, the cliffhanger's good.
Because it's good, I think both
If only
the
not
tension
for the-
and resolution both work. Because
If
I find sometimes that... Because the cliffhanger's always, they're about to die, and then they're immediately fine.
and then
It's
the
always,
Doctor
every single
uses
time.
the TARDIS crystal to murder 50 Cybermen. And
Yeah.
like, why don't you normally do that?
I just... It's always going to be too convenient, but I think this is one where it makes the most sense for me.
Yeah,
So I quite
I'm
like
with
it.
that. I'm still with Bad Wolves one for the moment. That
Okay.
one's very, very good. But we'll get there.
I might have forgotten some of the aspects of that one, so
I'm very ready.
maybe I'll change my mind.
Dislikes?
I have
I've got 3.
I have one for this one.
I've got 3.
I've one very simple one, and I think I'm gonna say it first because I've only got one, and you guys might just say it as well. Just Moffatisms, not that much a fan of them in hindsight.
I don't mind his isms in this episode. I think they're quite subtle in this.
They're really not that prevalent.
It's more that, like, because there's stuff I don't like later on,
Yeah.
I can see some of the seeds for those.
For me, it's like seeing Joss Whedon-isms in movies. Now that they are tired and I don't care for them as much in the original work.
I had a kind of an opposite reaction of, I was like really pleasantly surprised about the warm, friendly feeling of these Moffatisms being like this is not only fine but sometimes good, and at worst it's a tiny nitpick.
Yeah.
You know, I think in general in this episode and the next one, like this 2-parter, they fit fine. I'm quite cool with them.
Yeah, they didn't bother me either, I've got to say. My first dislike is why didn't the planes shoot at Rose?
I have also Jack makes his ship a huge target. So
That's my second dislike.
Roll into one, I think.
It's just a single plane trying to shoot her. Even if they miss, just even trying, I'd be fine.
I don't know if the planes shooting at Rose is a problem while she's hanging on the balloon so much as when she's suspended by a giant disco light. And maybe the disco light, because it's a gravity beam, would prevent the bullets from killing her anyway.
Yeah.
I'm also fine with them just not shooting.
These planes are also they're bombers. They're not trying to go in for a dogfight anyway, so maybe they don't actually care.
Yeah, I think
about a single person hanging from a balloon
and fuck off.
I mean, imagine the German flying by like, what's this stupid Brit doing? Like, what's she doing? She's gonna die. There's one that we don't have to worry about.
Like, just laugh and then move on. If there was one cut into like the German bomber of them all laughing, like with their German accents, that would have been funny.
We're presumably speaking German in there.
No, they're laughing in a
because
German accent.
Because of the TARDIS translator.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, shit.
Here's the thing. Here's a question, actually, because this comes back to a conversation that I don't know if we've had on the podcast, but we might have done. It rings a bell, and we've talked about Doctor Who a lot. But the idea of, I think, Matt, you brought up the fact that Jack has a American accent for no reason.
Yes.
The answer is because the planet that he's from in like the future, they just have American accents there.
Yeah.
And I think that the idea is that the TARDIS translator, if it's in your kind of local language,
It'll leave you be.
It leaves it be.
That makes sense.
Because unless we, the audience with the camera people, are also experiencing the TARDIS's translator, Jack, his first scene is just talking to that officer guy while looking at Rose's bum in the sky. And neither Rose nor the Doctor are interacting with him, and he's still speaking English with an American accent.
Yeah.
As he will later in stuff like Torchwood when he's away from the Doctor as well. So I think it's pretty cemented that he just is an American. He's a space American.
I'm down.
That's
with
how
that.
it goes sometimes.
From like the Bow Peninsula.
The fifth. Are you just pulling that because Face of Bow?
No, that's why he's called the Face of Bow.
Right.
But I don't know if that's where he's from or that's just where he was working as a like he had like a paper round for like the time agents or some shit as a kid. I don't remember.
We're going to Clom.
We're going to Bow.
Bow.
Because that's where we're...
Fro. The second part, aside from Rose hanging in the sky, is that Jack just turns his invisibility off in the middle of the same air raid after he's turned Big Ben on, or right before he turns Big Ben on and illuminates the ship and himself. Ben. And that's just like, at that point you're going to blow up the ship.
It's a really... I know it's like...
And we have confirmation that one of those German bombs would blow up his ship instantly and kill him. Because that's what is about to happen at the end of the next episode.
From the inside.
Yeah, from the inside, but he's on the outside.
Yeah. No, it would kill him.
He's dancing on it. If they bombed Big Ben, he'd probably fall off and die.
Oh, then we get one of those really satisfying boom noises. That would have been good. It's my favourite thing about Big Ben.
I have one more dislike that I
Sure.
did write down.
I'm out, so it's all
Which
you.
was the over-glorification of the UK in World War II.
Oh, that's
speech.
fair. Yeah.
I don't enjoy it. Didn't like it.
I think it is in bad taste. I get the concept. The concept is similar to what we get in the next episode, although I think done a bit better there. It's trying to like give hope to these downtrodden people. It's more about him inspiring Nancy than it is. But the way it's framed is very much like the Doctor having his own little monologue to himself and not really to Nancy. Whereas Rose's speech to Nancy in the next episode works a hell of a lot better because it's much more direct and it's less like imperial.
If that episode with the Ice Warrior, remember that on the Soviet submarine?
Oh god, that's a while away. I vaguely remember it.
If that had been an Eccleston adventure, that would have been great.
That would have been great.
I still like that episode a lot as well.
I remember it being alright. I don't remember much.
I say that about a lot of episodes.
Oh no, absolutely, but I also
there's a lot of episodes that would have been great if they were Eccleston episodes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, he wouldn't, like, he'd just plant a banana tree somewhere in the past and solve all of
He would have just
problems.
shot the Absorbal off.
I'd love if they did, like, a comedy skit special. It's like the only time they get Eccleston back. They fire all the people he hates. They get him back for one Red Nose Day special, right?
And they also get Peter Kay back.
And And it's the Doctor confronting a Clomian, and he reveals that, like, the Clomoid is his only villain left, his only enemy left, because his nemesis, the Daleks, have been defeated. And he's like, how'd you do that? And the Doctor's like, I simply planted a banana grove next to Davros's home when he was a child, and he grew up happy. And then there's a pause, and he said, I also did it for Hitler for good measure. And then like it just cuts, and it just has the word utopia. And then it just ends.
No. Then the Absorbaloff goes, did you use your travelling machine?
And he goes, no, I walked.
He's like, can I have it?
And he's like, yeah. He just goes, one trip. And he takes him on one trip.
To Clom. He brings him back to Clom.
He takes him to Clom. But when it was hidden by the Daleks. Because it wasn't hidden now, because the Daleks were never there, because they weren't bad.
Or he takes him...
Instead of the Khaleds making Daleks, they make Banans, and it's just banana-shaped robots that deliver bananas across the galaxy.
I'm in.
I mean, that's chibnalling it a bit there.
I don't think there's any chibbing whatsoever. Instead of being the Timeless Child, he just delivers a banana through like the gateway that the Timeless Child came through, and the Timeless Child takes the banana and just fucks back off into their own dimension.
Speaking of bananas, should we talk about the next episode after we discuss any changes?
But yeah, we've got some.
We'll wrap up this episode.
My changes is just remove the next time
before we can move on to the next episode of the podcast.
I think we should blur them.
Blur the next time episode.
Yeah.
But just so like it's got the audio, but it's just like
it faded in slowly and faded.
We can do that if you edit it.
Nah.
No,
thanks. That sounds stressful.
I think the next time clips are just bad in two-parters. We've
already I agree. The next time
changes.
Yeah, the next time.
It's a consistent thing. Anytime there's a two-parter, next time doesn't need it. That was proven recently. And we didn't have a next time.
Yeah, because they've stopped doing them now.
And I know that the second part wasn't great.
But
the fact there wasn't a next time
we'd have known.
Was lovely.
We'd have known it wasn't great.
And then wouldn't have been so hyped for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The change how long Rose holds onto the rope. Or if she does hold onto it so long, have her successfully get her foot around it.
Have some technique involved maybe.
Like I was saying at the very start, when we see aliens, why don't they have Mauve alert?
Yeah, that should be an ongoing change.
If it's the standard, he says it's the standard, and it's only humans who use Red Alert.
And he says that it causes a lot of confusion because when Red Alerts come up with humans, everyone else starts dancing. So the idea, which also brings up the dancing thing very early, which I like, but the idea that or like partying or something. The idea that like that's just the party colour for everywhere else, and like if there's a blaring red alarm, everyone else is like, "Way!"
Just on cue.
I don't know. It's really funny.
Maybe that's why humans end up being so successful and having so many like galactic empires.
Galactic orgies, according to these episodes, is the humans go out and just fuck everything.
Oh, yeah,
in a very literal sense.
Well, that's how you end up with a Cassandra, though.
Yeah, it's true because she refused to fuck. Fuckless, that woman.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to unpurify herself. Or
to
whatever.
be fair, if you look like a ball sack, you're gonna get
I'm
fucked.
sure that she didn't fuck before she looked like a ball sack too.
Mm.
Plus, I'm sure that people would take a Slowie from Cassandra. I want a dry Slowie with eye contact from Cassandra.
No. On to the quotes.
On to the quotes. I've got a good few.
The first one I got is, of all the species in all the universe, and it had to come out of a cow.
That's my first quote too.
I had, my first quote was, "Give me some Spock for once, would it kill you?"
That's my second
It's
quote.
a good one. Give me some Spock.
Has anything fallen from the sky recently?
I've got my nose has special powers.
Oh, I love that quote.
Mummy, are you my mummy?
I'm glad someone did it. We had to do that.
Mm.
I had, not sure if it's Marxism in action or a West End musical.
I've got, I try not to make business decisions with a clear head.
That's very you.
Very me. I'm not, I don't have a clear head.
If
right
we
now.
had a business, it would be a one that we operate while drunk.
Oh, absolutely, I'd be wasted.
Love the retro look, by the way. Nice panels.
Yeah, that's good. It almost feels like they set up the ongoing like rivalry they have when Jack comes back in Martha's season, and they have that argument about how Jack's watch, his vortex manipulator, is like a space hopper compared to the Doctor's time machine.
One more quote I've got is, "You're dead, Jamie."
You're dead. If you change the tone, that's just, "You're dead, mate. I'm gonna kill you."
You're dead, Jamie.
You should be dead.
God, I'm gonna shank you.
I'm just gonna throw it up to the. This is a banger, right? We've all.
Oh God, I forgot to write that down. Absolute banger.
Yeah, it's an absolute banger. I was fairly sure. It's a solid setup. I mean, we have the foresight of knowing that it's got a really solid conclusion as well. But I think if you were to isolate just the first half, imagine you don't know what's to happen next. I think it goes really nicely all the way up into the end, and then it has one of the really nice, tense kind of cliffhangers that we don't always. They don't always hit for me, but this one felt quite scary.
Yeah.
So absolute banger.
Definitely. Then
Put forward a quote.
Each of us put forward a quote.
I'm gonna go for. I've only got two. I'm gonna go for. Not sure if it's Marxism in action or a West End musical. I just liked that description.
I really like that one a lot. I'm definitely going to go for, when I open the page, I remember where it was. My nose has special powers.
I'm gonna. I think I'll go with, "Has anything fallen from the sky recently?"
No, I'm gonna change mine to one I didn't write down.
Alright.
I really liked Nancy's retort of, "Have your ears got special powers too?"
That was excellent.
And he's like, "What do you mean by that?" And she just ignores him.
Which one are we going for then?
I can't vote for mine, so I'm going to vote for the nose, because I only didn't write that down because I saw you write that down.
I can't vote really for the nose,
yeah,
so I'm going to go for the ear.
Okay.
We'll go for the nose then.
That's a nose, that's a solid
That's
nose.
A full nose.
It's
What's
such a good one. My
with
nose has special powers.
It's so simple and dumb, and I love it.
It's just him excusing him, like, it's one of the things where sometimes Moffat takes a character and has them do something for no reason and gives them like a really bullshit excuse for it. This happens a lot in Sherlock and in some later Doctor Who episodes. But I feel like if the bullshit excuse is a joke, it works really well. Like, if it's played as a comedic line, it works really well. Him just being able to follow Nancy around and his excuse being like, "I've got a magical nose."
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Fuck off." It's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Like, it really works for me.
No, I like it.
5-word summaries. Let's remind
I've got to check which one I'm going to put
so
forwards.
Mine was, "Who is the boy's mummy?"
we won't find out. It's not Jack. I'm gonna put in. Oh God, I like Zombie Child Cries and Pisses, but I don't think that's the right one. I'm gonna put Stupid Orphan Leaves Door Unlocked. I like that. Matt?
I think that I am going to not go for the Nazi one. I think
Okay.
I'm going to go for the Doctor Commits Soviet Union Erasure.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, what are we voting?
Can we vote for ourselves?
I don't
voting
really
for
want
I vote for stupid
I'm
orphan.
voting for Sam's. I like Sam's one.
I want to vote for my one.
I think we
Shall
should
we-
allow
shall we
that.
let him-
I think by vote for me and Kamal, we can allow that.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree.
Wonderful. Who is the boy's mummy?
Who is the boy?
It's so stupid.
It could be Moffat.
He is.
He's the
Moffat is
inventor
the-
of the ball.
Moffat is the
He's
boy.
like a mother to me.
He nursed me at his breast, Mr. Moffat.
Before.
Was Chibnall your dad who went to go get cigarettes and never came back?
Come on, before you tell everybody who they should share this episode with,
Yeah.
do you want to look at my ankle?
I can't see. The speech bubble has worn off,
Oh,
but it is a man giving a thumbs up.
He says time travel.
Oh. And then you farted in my face.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, perhaps you would like to share this episode
With your mother.
Well, it could be with your mother. I was gonna say
who is
share
your
it with
mother?
someone named James.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Jamie, whose mother was never found.
Never. So join us in the next episode where we will be discussing the second half of the two-parter.
Which is the Dr. Dance Says.
The Dr. Dance is.